She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be.
Let's just give it another shot really quick. It's so good. I just got to do it again. It's just great. Got to do it.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows.
All right. Well, hopefully everybody got a chance to hear that. I'm just having a good time right now. You can never have enough fun with Sleepy Joe and his craziness. And so we're going to get into this right now. In today's episode, by the way, I'm attorney Michael Ehline. I'm a lawyer licensed to practice law in Texas and California. And I'm just trying to contain myself because I'm just having such a good time laughing at this stuff. The Benny Hill show and Monty Python's Flying Circus has nothing on our current president. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. He's a source of great fun and humor for many Americans like you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the show really quick, and then we'll get into it. All right. To another edition of Ask Michael Ehline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Oh, man. BZ saying don't throw rocks at a glass house. Well, I don't know, BZ, because at least I don't do that. So that's Rocks. Did I hear Rock says let's OTVO? That's classic. So as you guys can see, I'm still having some issues with my stupid freaking microphone where it just wants to mute out on me sometimes, but I'm working on it. I have a tech person who's going to come and help me out. Rocks. Did I hear Rocks? Man, oh man, that is funny. And then Dr. Keith Abloh lost his license. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with all these crazy people. His dentures are falling out. All right, so this episode today is can President Biden pardon Hunter? And I think most of you know that he could pardon him, but why? And then why? When couldn't he pardon him? It just kind of raises some interesting issues here. And I've got this really cool reaction video that I'm going to play for you in a second as well that we'll be able to get into. By the way, thanks Bruce R for showing up, and Brick Jonesy, thanks for coming out. Yeah, I'm just looking to make sure everybody's here. All right, so we got our usual suspects here today. So basically, the president says that he won't pardon his son. That's what he's been saying. So I have this really cool lawyer reaction video that I'm going to play for y'all. Now, the deal is we know that there's a lot more going on with the Biden family. You know, we know that the CIA and the FBI lied and said that the laptop, Hunter Biden laptop, was Russian disinformation. We know that he had like child and all this other stuff on his laptop that implicated his father, the big guy, in a money laundering scheme, allegedly with Ukraine as well as China. And a lot of people say that's why we keep on sending money to the Ukraine, is to keep them quiet because they have so much dirt on the president and his family that it could cause a major constitutional crisis. So that's the argument that you hear from the other side. Put it in the comments if you have any ideas about what's going on here. But I'm going to go ahead and let you see what Pam Bundy has to say. And
one intel officers originally said that laptop was Russian disinformation. That's so important to remember, because we know it's not now, and FBI introduced it into evidence, and that's how Hunter Biden was convicted.
Yeah, well, there you go. And by the way, speaking of statute of limitations running out, you know what? Alvin Bragg wasn't bothered by that. He still went after President Trump, and those statute of limitations ran out. And now President Trump is convicted. So, what does that mean to anybody? The judge said a sentence is usually set for 120 days following a verdict, which would put this, mid-October, right? How do you see this all playing out?
Yeah, and Chris, this judge has been great, not because there was a conviction, but because the judge has just followed the law, kept its standard procedure, didn't hold the verdict until Jill Biden could run back in the room and be sitting there. This judge has just followed the letter of the law the entire way. It was a normal trial from beginning to end, other than we had the entire Biden family sitting in the courtroom the whole time. So actually, I'm very surprised that they came back with a verdict that quick, and it was a guilty verdict. That's typically, and what these jurors have said, they handled it like any other case. And also, I'm sick and tired of people saying that no one else would have been prosecuted for this. Yes, people are prosecuted for this case, and there was overwhelming evidence. The reason these cases aren't prosecuted that often is because you don't have overwhelming evidence. You don't have a laptop showing the addiction. You don't have a girlfriend and your sister-in-law throwing the gun in a dumpster, someone finding the gun, her falsely reporting it stolen. So there was overwhelming evidence in this case against Hunter Biden. So I think the judge is keeping to standard procedure on this case.
Okay. Well, Hunter Biden could face up to a quarter century in prison and a fine.
I think we all know. I think we all know that Biden's going to pardon him. I mean, give me a break. If it's a federal crime and your dad's the president and your son's got dirt on you that could throw the whole country under a bus, as well as I do. I mean, look at the news media. That's the problem. I mean, Joe Biden's daughter left her diary at a drug rehab center. And in her diary, she documents that, her dad would basically molest her in the shower, and she loathed taking showers with her father. And that diary was proven, she authenticated that diary. And you saw how the news media covered that up. Imagine if that had been the Trump family. So you can kind of see the disparate treatment with the media, how they're all in for the Democrats. So a lot of my clients are like, Mike, do a video on this. Let us know, can he pardon her, number one, and number two, will he pardon her? Of course, we know that he said that he will we know that he said he won't pardon him, his son Hunter, but that doesn't mean anything because so many things he has said have proven to be dishonest. That's why my clients have asked me, hey, how is this going to go down? So I wanted to share with you a little bit about, what a pardon is and, how it works between state and federal, the differences. Because in this case, unlike the Trump case, there is a chance for a pardon, whereas Trump's only chance for some kind of a pardon would be through like the governor of New York. Hope that makes you understand, because there's a state and federal issue. There's a difference in a jurisdictional difference. Now let's see here. Hair sniffing. Yuck, Mama Lion. I know, that's so gross. So really quick, I'm just going to throw this up here. So President Biden has said that he's not gonna pardon his son. I think most of us think that's a lie. But he's vowed to accept the outcome of the trial, whatever that means. And yes, he definitely has the constitutional authority to pardon his son for any federal crimes under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution. So that gives the president the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in the cases of impeachment. That's why Richard Nixon had to resign, because if he would have been impeached, he would have never been able to get a pardon for that impeachment. I hope this is making sense. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys understand what I'm talking about. Now, with state crimes, it's a different deal. The president doesn't have the power to pardon state crimes, only federal crimes. Remember, there's a difference between federal and state governments. So in this case, he does. Now, as far as the facts of the case and whatnot, this particular case was, hold on a minute. I'm going to play this video back from the beginning because I want you guys to understand what happened. This is a really interesting situation here. But basically, this was a gun crime that Hunter was convicted of. I have not been muted out too long. How long has my mic been muted out for, bro? So I keep on unmuting my mic and then it mutes back on. So I don't know what's going on, guys. It's pissing me the F off. Oh, geez, 2 minutes. Well, it's something I'll have to fix later. Okay. Anyways, so the bottom line is I'll get this bad chicken video going. And again, I don't know what's going on with the microphone. Okay, so just to roll it back, I'm going to play the video from the beginning. In this situation, to give you an understanding, yeah, it just muted me again, of how this works when you have a case like this, because this is a gun case, and you guys know that I support the Second Amendment, so I don't like laws like this to begin with. And in this particular case, this guy is charged with falsifying documents and things like that. So I'll just let this bad chicken newscaster, I'll roll this big, bad, beautiful bean footage. Yeah, Mike has no mic. It's a Chinese-built communist Democrat microphone. Says, hey, what's going on, Ralph Riley? Good seeing you, buddy. I guess we missed you a couple times these last few days, but it's good seeing you back. Yeah, thanks for showing up, man. So let's just roll this beautiful bad bean footage, and you guys can check this out.
And former special advisor to President Trump, Pam Bondi. It's good to see you, Pam. Well, you and I both know the reason why they chose these violations to put Hunter on trial now. They are the least of the allegations against him, and they don't lead back to the big guy. The Trump campaign reacting to the verdict, writing, quote, this trial has been nothing more than a distraction from the real crimes of the Biden crime family, which has raked in tens of millions of dollars from China, Russia, and Ukraine, end quote. President Trump is right here, isn't he, Pam?
Yeah, and what you talked about in your monologue, Chris, is very accurate. So there were cases, of course, from 2014, 2015, involving the foreign business dealings, not registering as a foreign agent, which could have implicated James Biden and Joe Biden.
That's right.
The Justice Department let the statute of limitations run on all of those cases. They can no longer be prosecuted.
So that's what I was trying to tell you guys the other day is the problem is when you have, doesn't matter what political party it is, Republican or Democrat, when they also have de facto control over the Justice Department, it basically enables them to violate the law because they can do little shenanigans like this. And one of the big complaints I'm hearing from old school constitutionalists is the new prosecutor class, you know, the George Soros prosecutor types. They take the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and sort of throw it on its head. So prosecutors have the discretion not to prosecute crimes so they can do justice. So doing justice would be, for example, not to prosecute someone acting in self-defense, like the Penny guy on the train when he, you know, ended up choking that guy out in a rear naked choke, who was a crazy man who had already been violent towards other train passengers on the subway. And so unfortunately the guy passed away. But back in the old days, a prosecutor would never prosecute a case like that. They would use prosecutorial discretion to say he was acting in defense of others because the guy was a known violent criminal and he'd already harmed others. And the guy clearly was defending other people based on the witness statements. But because the new prosecutor class, the Soros types, don't like it when you defend people, especially if you're a white male, according to many, that you will get prosecuted. And at the same token, you won't get prosecuted. They'll investigate until the statute of limitations runs out. So you don't get prosecuted if you support the political ideology of their party. And so that has caused a great rift in our justice system and a great rift in the belief in our justice system. Also, the teaching of critical race theory in the schools, that has now created a rift where, half the class thinks all the white people are oppressors and the other class thinks that they're all victims because that's what they've been taught since they were babies from the government. So now when you go into a courtroom and then you got to choose a jury, you almost have to assume that the jury that is the different skin color is going to consider themselves to be victims. And then the other guy, who's, if he's a white guy, is an oppressor. So how are you going to even have a fair shake at a case like that? So that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people who are complaining about this whole new woke thing. And so I just wanted to segue in and talk about that a little bit before we keep on playing this big, bad, beautiful bean footage.
So, and remember, they also wanted a plea deal. They had this blanket sweeping plea deal originally, and thank goodness for the judge who caught it, to a misdemeanor for tax fraud. So the judge caught it, didn't accept it, which is why we ended up in court this week and Hunter Biden was convicted. And don't forget, 51 intel officers originally said that laptop was Russian disinformation. That's so important to remember.
They lied.
Because we know it's not now, and FBI introduced it into evidence, and that's how.
So this is really important also, guys. So remember, they say 20% of Democrats or 18%, there's a pretty high number who said they would not have voted for Joe Biden had they not been told by the CIA officials and FBI agents who are basically partisans towards the Bidens and the Obamas, all of them. They would not have voted for the Bidens if they had believed that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. But instead, what ended up happening is people who talked about it, especially on Facebook or Instagram, they just immediately had their accounts wiped out. And now we know from the Twitter files from Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter's that was all by design. There's a revolving door employment scheme between Silicon Valley, the CIA, and the FBI. They all get jobs back and forth. So that's one of the ways that these social media companies shape policy, protect themselves from lawsuits, don't get prosecuted for some things. Also, the reason for the absurd and stupid interpretation of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It's absurd the way that it's being enforced. These social media companies are getting away with highway robbery, basically by unfairly competing with people on their platforms, while at the same token being able to have protections from being sued. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and they're all interconnected, just like Brick Jonesy is saying up here. Thank you, Brick. That the marriage of the branches is directly tied to the supremacy clause. And honestly, the news media, and especially Silicon Valley, all of these search engines and everything, they're all basically just part of the government. And we've even heard recently a Supreme Court justice saying that she believes that the First Amendment hamstrings the government. And we know that the law enforcement believes that the First, Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth Amendment, Sixth, we can go on and on, hamstring the government. But we, the people, put those policies in place and accepted and adopted those unalienable rights that are universal to all men, and put them into play in the United States in this great experiment. So I just wanted to narrate a little bit and add a few things on top of what they're saying before we keep on playing.
How Hunter Biden was convicted.
Yeah, well, there you go. And by the way, speaking of statute of limitations running out, you know what? Alvin Bragg wasn't bothered by that. He still went after President Trump, and those statute of limitations ran out. And now President Trump is convicted. So, what does that mean to anybody? The judge said a sentence is usually set for 120 days following a verdict, which would put this, mid-October, right? How do you see this all playing out?
Yeah, and Chris, this judge has been great, not because there was a conviction, but because the judge has just followed the law, kept its standard procedure, didn't hold the verdict until Jill Biden could run back in the room and be sitting there. This judge has just followed the letter of the law the entire way. It was a normal trial from beginning to end.
Now, we can contrast this really quickly with the Trump case. So we know that in the Trump case, it was a state case, not federal. But we know that the judge's daughter is basically a fundraiser for the Democrat Party and people who hate Donald Trump. and she actually fundraised on the with the goal and raised money on the idea that Donald Trump would be convicted in this case. And of course, her father is the judge on the case. So you can sort of see that there's a lot of politics at play here, at least in the Democrat side. But in this side, we didn't see anything about, the federal judge's family receiving funds. And we see that Hunter's not really being charged with what he should have been charged with, which is, like election interference, with overseas unregistered lobbying and unregistered foreign agent businesses accepting bribes and money from Eastern Europe and China. And we know also that the way they do things now is they'll accept gold and silver. So we have no idea how much the Biden family really got out of this. But now we know that we were lied to by the lamestream press and by hundreds of CIA officials and FBI officials. And we know from the Twitter files that they knew all along that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. So we know that although he got convicted of these gun crimes, the way he was prosecuted and charged, they were able to avoid the really serious stuff that could have thrown the entire Biden family into the bus. So in my opinion, mark my words, Hunter Biden will be pardoned. But let's just go ahead and keep on watching what she has to say, because I like what she says.
And other than, we had the entire Biden family sitting in the courtroom the whole time. So actually, I'm very surprised that they came back with a verdict that quick, and it was a guilty verdict. That's typically, and what these jurors have said, they handled it like any other case. And also, I'm sick and tired of people saying that no one else would have been prosecuted for this. Yes, people are prosecuted for this case, and there was overwhelming evidence. The reason these cases aren't prosecuted that often is because you don't have overwhelming evidence. You don't have a laptop showing the addiction. You don't have a girlfriend and your sister-in-law throwing the gun in a dumpster, someone finding the gun, her falsely reporting it stolen. So there was overwhelming evidence in this case against Hunter Biden. So I think
Biden
the judge is keeping to standard procedure on this case.
Okay. Well, Hunter Biden could face up to a quarter century in prison and a fine of up to $750,000, though he will likely receive a far lesser sentence because of who his dad is. And just to refresh everybody's memory, just last week, Biden vowed that he would not pardon his son. Watch.
Your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution.
Wait, what did he say? He can't what?
So long as he was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure we could understand what he was saying.
But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
Pam, as one of the Salcedo Show axioms states, leftists lie. They always lie. Regardless of the outcome of Election Day, the day after Joe Biden no longer has to worry about the voters, Hunter's going to get that pardon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's also a dad, and I'm fairly certain he's going to pardon him. And Chris, don't forget, he also said earlier today in a speech to gun control people, he said that he believed in safe gun storage, background checks, that dangerous people shouldn't have guns in their hands. And Hunter Biden was just convicted. Yet I do believe he will still.
Hey, well, hold on, guys. So unfortunately, Facebook and all, they're all buddies with the Bidens, right? So they'd scrub everything. But if you go to Twitter, you'll see video of this dude dragging this Asian young girl by her ankle through a hallway. It looks like in an Asian hotel, where he's naked, dragging her down the carpet back into his room while she's screaming, and no one comes out, no one does anything. And it's caught on a closed circuit camera. And this is going on all over the place. They've got footage of this dude with like 12-year-old looking kids, and in lingerie where he's naked. It looks like, at least from the photos I've seen. And this is the same kind of stuff that was on this, was it Weinstein, the Wiener, the guy that was the boyfriend of Uma Abedin or whatever, who was Hillary Clinton's aide de camp. like hundreds of thousands of like pornographic videos with adults, kids. And this is like, these are all like the same people, Hillary, the Bidens, they're all together doing all this weird crap, going to Epstein Island, all this stuff. And all that stuff just gets swept under the rug, and they lose all of the video footage, like the thousands of hours of video footage. The FBI loses all that footage, all of it. And it just happened that, like their bosses were flying to Epstein Island regularly. Think about that. I mean, put it in the comments if that's one of the reasons why you think a lot of people have lost so much confidence in our governmental agencies, especially the criminal justice system. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that's one of the reasons. Or by the way, do you just think it's this guy might know why? Let's ask him.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
I don't know. What do you think? Hey, Joe, what do you think?
She knows so long as she was denied.
Oh, yeah.
Our freedom can
totally
never be secured.
get it. I totally
she
get
knows,
it. Oh, no, I got you. Hopefully you guys agree.
Son.
Yeah. Give him credit for having no idea what's going on in the country, even in his own circle. Pam Bondi, thank you very much. Appreciate the legal expertise as always.
Loving it. Yep, loving it. Let's go ahead. So I guess that is a wrap on that bad chicken. So, all right, guys. So what do you think? Do you think that Joe Biden? Hold on a minute. Do you think that Joe Biden is? I'm asking my guys in the sidebar. Everybody who's watching this right now, I'm taking a poll. All right, it's informal, but I think my audience is more in line with what normal America is like. What do you think? Give me a bunch of ones if you think that Joe Biden is going to pardon Hunter Biden. Give me a bunch of twos if you think he's just going to let him go to jail and that's it. And give me a bunch of threes if you think the judge is going to let him out with time served or some other kind of reasoning to keep him out of there. Like, it's a danger, or, he's done a lot of roadside treatment or something like that. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. I want to know what you think. So let me see. Let me see what you think. Okay, now so I sound like hold on a minute. So somebody says, oh, Gloria, I hope I don't sound like I'm drunk, man. All I'm doing is drinking these Spindrifts, and they're really good, by the way. So the reason I like these, and I'm not endorsing anything or anything like that, but I want to tell all my audience that these other fruit juices that are like essence of or whatever, they don't have real fruit juice. They have this fake garbage in it. And this has actually real fruit juice, but not enough to where there's sugar. So if you're somebody who really craves sugar, but you're diabetic or something and you want to lean out, this is what you do. You drink this so you get just enough of that like sour sweetness, but not enough to where it's giving you an insulin spike. Because what happens when you spike your insulin is your body starts storing everything that you eat as fat. That's basically what happens. And then the bigger you get, the further your insulin cells spread apart, where your body can process sugar, and you have less of them per square inch. And then it becomes out of control. That's why super skinny people always stay skinny, because they have more insulin cells per square inch. Not insulin, I forgot what it's called, but I'll think of it in a minute. Anyways, I don't want to lose track off what we're doing here, because otherwise you'll start accusing me of being this guy.
So long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Yeah.
I
think so. What do you guys think? Give me a bunch of ones if you can understand.
Our freedom can never be secured.
President.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. Give me a bunch of twos. She knows so long as she was.
So I just want to make sure that you did that. And, I want the ones and the twos. All right, Mama Lion. So, Mama Lion, I am so sorry that you've been sick. That's terrible. Oh, Amazon, Sleepy Joe has passed his expiration date. Oh, man, he sure had. He passed his expiration date before he even ran. And, I think after seeing all the revelation, everybody seeing, seeing the revelations, about the election after the Twitter files came out. Now we know there was this big cover up about the laptop. You can see, like, man, this is like really people are questioning this one. Like, people are really questioning, how did this guy get there? How did the border get open? How do we have 20 million illegals who just walked across? What's going on? It looks just like what's happening in Europe, doesn't it? Exactly. It's almost like the same billionaires are behind both operations to basically replace us, because they want to dumb, right? It makes sense that you'd want to dumb people down if you have a democratic system and you can give everybody like a free cell phone, some free money, and say, hey, move over here and replace the existing populace, because they're just too damn smart. They're not taking our injections. They don't really want our money. That I'm getting a lot of complaints from people going, hey, what's going on? This is uncanny that this is happening. So I want to see what you guys think. Let's see how the poll's going on the side. And by the way, this is not a political thing. This is just an observation. I'm a natural law theorist, and I just look at any kind of power as sort of the Leviathan, the centralized Leviathan, and then the people, people who just want to be left alone, unless it's for a very limited purpose, like our Constitution says. That's sort of the side that I would be on if you were going to classify me. More like less is more. Like when you go to a judge and you do a brief, you don't want to file more paper or file a larger one, because brevity invites decisiveness. When you have a brief that's laid out with bullet points, you're going to get more justice than if the judge has to tear through this huge document. And that's how it is with everything in life. So let me see here. It says here, did you know the serpent in the Bible was over 300 miles long? I didn't know that, Salty Buckeye. That's pretty interesting. I'd like to see some points and authorities. I'd like a full brief on that one. Now, it's good seeing you, Amazon, as well. Everybody give me a bunch of FCs, free chili. For Free Chili de Castro, a friend of ours who is hanging out right now where we don't want him. We want to get him out. And Ralph Riley, sugar-free carburetor checker. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you really think that Joe Biden is going to let Hunter Biden languish in a prison? Do you think they're going to find another way to get him out of there? Do you really think that an appeal would even have a chance? And by the way, check out those videos on Twitter. Like, look at the hashtag Hunter Biden. I mean, this guy is really like a dangerous individual. I'm not shocked at all that when they found cocaine at the White House, that Hunter Biden happened to be there looking all geeked out on the balcony. It's just a bad look for the country, and that was right around the time, I think, when Biden had all the transvestites walking around with their boobs hanging out and stuff on the White House lawn and rainbow flags everywhere. And it's just a bad image for the country, I think. And this just buttresses that bad image, and it just really reflects poorly on the leadership and the overall cultural degradation of our society. What do you guys think? Yeah, Mama Lion says so many embarrassments. Yeah. And look, I'm not saying that Trump didn't embarrass us either sometimes, right? But gosh, I sure did like his border policy. I mean, that was brilliant. Make people shelter in place, and, let's figure out a better way. But in the meantime, don't flood our resources in our country just because you want to win elections, because that's what it looks like, right? It looks like they're flooding all of our cities that people are leaving because they don't like the leadership, and they're filling them with illegals, and then they're splitting the districts and redistricting and getting more representatives. So they're basically able to maintain power that way. Instead of owning up to the people that are leaving and trying to fix the problem, people like Newsom are flooding the state with illegals, like peasants from third world countries, and just immediately putting them on government assistance. I mean, we know they're going to be voting for Newsom and his party forever. And it doesn't look good. It just doesn't seem fair to a lot of people. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that looks unfair. That, fairness would be the people who have been here and abide by the laws. You know, they should be, you know, treated better, not like, oh, thanks, BZ. Hunter will be pardoned after the election, or it will be a political unaliving. Yeah, that's probably true. Either way, Sleepy Joe is not going to be in a good spot, because if he pardons him, obviously that looks bad, because then you kind of have to pardon Trump, right? Right, just to be fair. Because he's the one behind Trump's prosecutions on all these state and federal cases. Now we know that I guess on the court's official website in the Trump case, that I guess a brother of one of the jurors was saying it's in the bag. One of my family members or whatever is on the jury, and Trump is going to jail. That's it. That was like the day of or the day after. So it seems like wow, man, like they really got this situation rigged. The only thing that would be fair is for everybody to get pardoned. I don't know. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that would be fair, just to make it all go away. Give it a. But I think that BZ Watchdog's 100 on the money. He's saying that after the election, yeah. So if Biden loses, I think that's when he has to strike and pardon him. And he'll come up with some reason like, oh, we found some dirt on the judge. Here's what I know from history. They already have dirt on everyone before they get elected. And then they just have a card they can pull out and use it on them. And that's why it's so important to always consider a parallel system of people you like and trust, so you don't have to rely on a system that's so corrupted like that. You know, we already know that. I mean, look at the original dude at the FBI. He had a dossier on all these presidents and, you know, all this stuff that he could use against him to hold on to power. How long was Hoover in power at the FBI? The guy that was blackmailing and they named buildings after the guy. Still to this day, it's like, wow, it just blows my mind. Please donate for Mike to get a new mic. Thanks, BZ. Thanks for setting off the super chats. I appreciate that. Well, Amazon, yeah. RFK has said a lot of really good stuff that really resonate with me and a lot of people. He's also said a lot of things I don't like when it comes to the Second Amendment, which makes me a little concerned. I don't believe that he is a natural law theorist. I think a lot of the stuff he says is good, though. I don't know. I look, my ears and mind are wide open. Look, Trump was so divisive, and ladies just don't like the guy for whatever reason. Men love the guy, ladies hate him, and that's, unfortunately, there's ladies out there too, and not unfortunately. I think it's a good thing. But what I'm saying is, unfortunately, for all the guys who just are diehard Trump, you know, Trump has to do something to convince the ladies. A lot of ladies dig him, though. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, to really break into that high margin, he's having a hard time. But he is getting black male votes and a lot of black female votes, because I think they realize they're being replaced, right? I mean, it's so much easier to replace all these people who, you know, are so used to being Americans, right? And know all their benefits, know all their rights, can claim protected status, to now having, you know, someone who's an illegal, who's just so glad they're here, receiving all their benefits that these other people don't even have the opportunity to get. So think about that. So there's definitely a sea change going on out there. Now, there's this one guy who says that you're not even black. This guy says you're not even black unless you vote for him.
Denied. Our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was.
What do you guys think?
Our freedom can never be secured.
What do you think?
She knows so long as she was denied. Our freedom can never be.
Can black people vote Republican?
She knows so long as she
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Denied.
So you heard what he said. He says that, you know, you can't do it. You can't do it, unfortunately. So that's just the way it is. If you can only vote Democrat if you're black, according to well, let's ask him. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you guys don't believe me.
Can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied. Our freedom can never be secured.
Yeah. And I kind of was thinking the same thing. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me take a look over in the sidebar. What do you think, Let's OTVO? Yeah, he's right. Let's OTVO said it. It's not hard for Trump to buy votes. That's true, but it's a lot easier for Biden because he's got the post office. They're the ones who deliver the ballots, right? We've already seen video of them pulling up at midnight with these big trucks coming from out of nowhere on closed circuit TV that aren't supposed to be there. And we know that the post office is overwhelmingly Democrat, especially in how they donate their political fundraiser, campaign donations, and all that. So it's like overwhelming, not even close. So, we know that that is one beautiful and intelligent thing that the left has been able to do is completely dominate and control the administrative state. I mean, they absolutely run it. They run the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, everything. It's just far, far left, according to what I've seen and heard from whistleblowers and people who are running from it. And, I want to know what you guys think, obviously. But I agree with Let's OTVO. He can also buy votes too, but I think it's so much easier when you have your own infrastructure in place already that's just been well planned. And you got guys like Soros and Bill Gates and pretty much everybody except Elon Musk going after Trump. I mean, when you think about it, it's like he doesn't even come close to the power that Silicon Valley has. And yet he was still able to garner all that support, which is shocking to me. I have a problem with him for a lot of reasons. One is that my dad didn't like him because he wouldn't shake his hand. We found out later that Trump is like a germaphobe. So, obviously I looked up to my dad, and then I've, seen him, the way he behaves, and he's really just kind of irate and crazy sometimes, it looks like. So being a lawyer, I think you're supposed to be more squared away. If you're going to be a leader, I think you need to be more like a military officer, like a Marine officer. I hope that makes sense. That's just my personal view. A lot of people love the guy, like what he did on the Second Amendment and the border. What do you guys have to say? For and against. Let me see it in the sidebar really quick. I'd like to see that while we're on the topic. And in the meantime, I want to ask him what he has to say about Trump.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was
What do you guys think?
denied,
You agree with
our
him?
freedom can never be.
So give me a bunch of ones if you agree with President Biden about President Trump. I can. So Amazon wants to know, can I talk about journalists versus citizen journalists? Well, when someone says journalist, automatically people who are on the academic left are going to say, oh, well, clearly you had to go to the UCLA School of Journalism or you're not a journalist. Clearly you need a license to be able to speak or have an opinion or a voice from the government. You have to have this in order to have a view or a viewpoint. Otherwise, you're just a peasant and you're not allowed. You don't have a $200,000 student loan. Therefore, you have no right or a say in this, and just deny the reality that the First Amendment was really geared towards the common man, the commoner, the common Englishman, to give them that right and that freedom of speech, that right of religion to worship as they pleased in their own way. And so that's been sort of turned on its head now to basically, well, if you don't have the right credentials or the right academic degree or whatever, you can't come onto our campus, or you can't come and speak. You can't, you don't have the right to talk about mRNA unless you work for the NIH and have an article published by the NIH, who all are basically bought and paid for by pharma, right? Owned by the pharmaceutical industry, right? You can't have an opinion unless you're in part of that network of people that sell things and have the ability to get off from being sued, right? Like these people literally can do negligent things that harm you, and they get immunity from being sued. So you have to buy what they say about things they sell. And as a lawyer, I just find that distasteful. And give me a bunch of ones if you understand what I'm saying. I just want to make sure I'm explaining things in the way that you could understand. Because I am an attorney, and I've been told sometimes that I use too big of words, but I really want you to understand what I'm saying. So Amazon, the answer is that a journalist who is sanctioned by the government has less authority, from my point of view, than someone who's a citizen journalist, who is someone who's not a government sanctioned journalist. there might be protocols and things that these other journalists know about being in a press pool and all that, and like a good old boy club. But at the end of the day, we're members of the public. And one of the biggest duties, the greatest duties that we have, is to be able to hold our government accountable, be able to hold our government officials accountable. And that's why I'm all about GAOs. So give me a bunch of GAOs in the sidebar, government accountability operations. It's part of my life as an attorney to hold the government accountable, especially after the Gulf of Tonkin, after what happened to my father, getting Agent Orange exposure and then dying of cancer young, being a Marine, damaging him the way it did, and the way the war destroyed him emotionally, the post-traumatic stress, and that I had to grow up with that, which I still suffer every day from growing up with a guy who just could lose it at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, holding the government accountable so that doesn't happen again. Like saying there's weapons of mass destruction to give you authority to invade a country and then not finding them because now we find out later that they didn't even exist, right? Find out later, years later, safe and effective. And then you see people getting all these weird diseases and these spike proteins, safe and effective. Yeah. And then you find out, oh, they knew it wasn't safe and effective ever, but they kept saying that it was, right? That kind of stuff. So government accountability operations are best done and best performed by people who are outside of the pharmaceutical, media, military, educational, industrial complexes. Of course, citizen journalism is the foremost and premier way of government accountability, of holding the government accountable. Government accountability operations can only be achieved by citizen journalists. They cannot be achieved ever by state run or state sponsored or state approved media. As soon as the government gets to decide what's true, what's false, what disinformation is, what misinformation is, they start trying to push that on public school kids like they just are doing now in California. They just passed some stupid law, Newsom signed into law that, they have to teach kids the official January 6th narrative, whatever they say, right? Anything that goes against their political opposition is what they now teach as the official truth. They get to decide misinformation, disinformation. Boys can really be girls. Girls can really be boys because that's their position. So therefore, that's the truth, right? And you've seen that with fact check labels where they'll check a fact that doesn't even exist in your argument. And then they'll say that fact that they checked is false. And they'll say, therefore, you're engaged in disinformation, and they'll block you from their channel, right? The Facebook will do that. Instagram does it all the time. Violation of Section 230, in my opinion. These are the kinds of things you guys should be getting hot and fired up about. You should be Googling Section 230, looking at it, understanding it, because it all ties into what you're trying to do, which is hold the government accountable. And because they have such a stranglehold over these social media companies and Section 230 is in place, they can use their people to basically hamstring the enforcement of that law to where they can have a stranglehold on truth like they did with the Hunter Biden laptop story. That's a prime example of an abuse of Section 230. So absolutely start learning about these things, guys. Don't let all these academics and the fact that the first 500 pages of Google show results that are favorable towards their argument. Do your own research. I've written some articles about it myself to help you get started on your path to learning what your rights are and learning how these different power structures and systems within these administrative agencies are dictating your lives. And alternative systems enable us to help each other as friends and family and whatnot, because we like and trust each other. And shunning is the greatest thing that we can suffer. For example, you like YouTube and you like a channel and someone tries to block you and you really loved it and you invested time into that and you feel shunned. It's a terrible feeling. And we should feel that way in real life about people that we do business with, people that we support, not just in our virtual world, but in our real world that we have to survive in every day. Those are the types of things that I like to teach you. So Rick Jonesy, Team MPE for the win. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And does anybody have any questions? There's your pen and Mike's mic. Man, you guys are really busting me up about my microphone. And I would do I would like for you, I will do a live about journalists versus citizen journalists. I think that that is a really great idea. And I think that Chile de Castro is an example of a citizen journalist who's very bold and brave. And he operates outside the normal scope of how a lemming trained university style journalist would behave. And I think that may throw public servants off off balance, off kilter. But at the end of the day, he has the right to do the things that he does, so long as he's not interfering or obstructing or causing problems. And the problem is we have so many vague and ambiguous laws that they can be enforced in an uneven handed way, an uneven handed way. And you see that a lot with people who are political protesters like Chile. They become political dissidents, and many people believe that Chile is a political dissident. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that Chile is a political dissident. All right, so now the dog is falling asleep, so that's always terrible. Oh boy. Okay, I would like to do that. So that's right, those dirty coppers. Yeah, bringing the truth to people, that's journalism. That's what Mama Lion says. So if we go back to the topic, which is, will Joe Biden pardon Hunter Biden? I would say that it's in the bag. So we've got a bunch of people. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. Starting now, everybody who gives a 1 says that Joe Biden is going to pardon Hunter, and everybody gives a 2 says that he's not going to get pardoned. So let's do that. Let's see. So Gloria thinks definitely going to be pardoned. Mama says, Amazon says, so that's 3. Biden is a burden, that's for sure. Biden is a burden to the Democrat Party, that's for sure. What an embarrassment. It's like they've got to pull Obama out and parade him around so people know who's really running the country, right? Because otherwise they're terrified. He's constantly having to make show of force. I'm really in charge. Don't worry, we're good. Wow, look at that. Yeah, election pardon after election, says BZ. So they're all saying he's getting a pardon. And look, and what I like about my audience also is a lot of you guys really don't like Trump. So this isn't like a revenge sort of vote, like, oh, we love Trump. No, this is just you guys saying he's going to get pardoned. Yeah. He's a total embarrassment to the country, says Amazon. Amazon, the greatest geopolitical disaster in the history of this country was when Joe Biden surrendered to the Taliban. And we lost those, 13 service members at the end there, several of them Marines, like 12 or 13 of them. It was an absolute disgrace. And we left all that military equipment behind for the Taliban to take. We should have blown all that crap to high heaven or pulled it out, destroyed it. There's no way that was just and then after that, prior to that, it was giving all that money to Iran, like Obama flew in planes of US cash, like $400 billion or something of US cash notes, helping those terrorists. They're just not a good country. The way they treat their women, they're just not good, man. Not like unsat, like to give them anything. Hey, what's up, Jersey Mike? Trump is a jolly good felon, says Jersey Mike. BZ says that Trump and Hunter are cellmates or soulmates. Well, what does this guy have to say about it? Hey, what do you guys think? What do you think he thinks?
Be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
I think so.
She knows so long as she was.
What do you think,
denied,
BZ?
our freedom can never.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him. I think he's probably right. Now, BZ says that we're not supposed to vote for Trump. And then Mama Lion says, my mind is open. And then Let's OTVO says at their age, I might vote for the vice president. No kidding, man. That's true. You might have to. That is hilarious. No citation was written in the making of this kangaroo court. Well, that's Brick Jonesy for you. Hey, it's really good having you guys all join me tonight. I'm getting kind of fried here. Is there any questions anybody wants me to answer before I check out? I was going to do some stuff on contract law, but I was like, this is kind of an important story because we just had I did one about Trump, right? So that was sort of for the right-wing people, I guess, about him getting convicted and how that's going to go down. Can he win an appeal? I did one for him on his civil conviction, and I did one on his criminal one that just happened. And now I'm doing one for Hunter. But I got to tell you guys, if you want to like really have your mind blown, go to Twitter and do a search for Hunter Biden dragging girl. And just look at some of the videos of this dude. He's like running around naked, dragging this girl through a hallway at a hotel. Just like, wow, this guy's dangerous. Like this dude's super dangerous, man. Like this guy seriously should never be around any kids, like super dangerous. And then there's pictures of him with like all these minors, all off his laptop that we were lied to by the FBI and the CIA repetitively, where they said it was fake, it was Russian disinformation. Now we know all those Russian disinformation stories are a lie. That was just all made up to try to discredit Trump and anybody who supports Trump. And, that's fine, whatever. Look, if Russia agrees about a lot of stuff that is wrong with our country, it's so, a lot of Americans feel the same way. So it's not Russian disinformation just because there might be some crossovers where we might agree on some stuff. I mean, when we fought in World War II, the Russians and us both agreed that we hated the Nazis, but we still didn't agree with each other's ideology. We still could be Americans and Russians. So you can still agree with some people on some things and not be Russian disinformation. That's all for weak-minded people who don't have the ability to do critical thinking. That's all that is. You need to be critical thinkers. And I'm trying to teach you guys that. That was all just made up garbage. Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, these FBI agents got these bullshit warrants, these FISA warrants. They lied to get them. And that's how they got them issued. They were censured by the courts, the judges or the justices, saying we don't appreciate what you did, but they didn't get in trouble. And Strzok got a job as a speaker at CNN. So you know what's going on, guys. That's what they do, Just like Obama said, we have to punish our enemies and reward our friends. And that's all they're doing. That they've got their own news networks and social media and all that stuff. So yeah, like right now he's saying he's not going to pardon. He's not going to pardon Hunter. So what's going to happen? Like let's ask him, guys, like when would he pardon Hunter? Like Mr. Biden, President Biden, will you, President Biden, I have to ask you this question. This is very, very important. Mr. President, that's right there. Mr. President, I got to know, will you pardon Hunter ever?
Never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Okay. So I think what he's saying is I guess he said, yeah, he might in certain situations. I think he said that about freedom secured, like probably when his freedom's going to be secured, then he would pardon him. So, okay, if that's the case, Mr. Biden, is it going to be before or after the election?
Secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
All right. So guys, I'm sorry. I think we're having some technical difficulties. I'm not able to really understand what the president's saying, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to pardon him because BZ Watchdog, oh my God, super chat. He says, Chili for president. I'm writing his name in. I think that's what we need. Let's ask President Biden if he thinks, Mr. Biden, hold on. Don't leave yet. Hold on. I'm trying to get him, guys. Give me a second. President Biden, hold on. Chili, how about this? You step down. Trump agrees not to run. Hunter gets off. All the case gets dismissed against Trump. He gets a pardon from the governor, right? And then Chili for president. What do you think about that?
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
I think he's in, guys. I think he's all in. I think that President Biden has agreed to this. You guys know that I've done a lot of arbitration work as an attorney, and I like helping mediate and resolve disputes. And I'm very proud of President Biden right now for his agreement to step down if the governor of New York can coordinate a complete exoneration of President Trump or a pardon under their state law. We just heard President Biden say it on my show. You heard him say it, that he is going to go ahead and pardon Hunter. He'll step down, Trump steps down, and Chili DeCastro steps in his place, and he gets on the ticket. And it's just like they both agree to endorse Chili. I mean, that's it, guys. It's done. Not even Mitt Romney could fight a ticket like that, right, guys? You could, all the religious right votes in the world, they'd never defeat Chili if he got that slot. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that that's a fair thing. Does anybody else have any questions for President Biden? I've got him waiting for me. You know, he's known me for quite some time. You know, I used to let him rub the hairs on my legs when we were in the pool, you know, when he was younger, and became friends that way. And that was when he was in law review. You know, he graduated at the top of his class in law school, and when he was in law review, and you know, we had gone out, and you know, we'd gone and gone to Vietnam and fought in a SEAL team together. And I don't really like talking about that too much because Joe doesn't like me talking about that. But all right, so okay, you got a question? Okay, did Joe get his ice? Hold on, let me find out. Brick Jonesy wants to hold on. I got you, Brick. Brick, Mr. President, Brick Jonesy wants to know if you had some ice cream today, and was it vanilla? I think he said.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Yeah.
She knows so long as she.
Well, you heard him, Brick. I mean, you can't really, you know, straight from the horse's mouth is the best I could give you. I mean, the guy clearly, he hears you and he understands and, you know, is with you 1,000%. You can feel it. You can feel it in the way he handles himself, that he probably really was black in his other past life. And that's why he knows that you ain't black if you don't vote for him. And I get it. And I'm proud of him. And I want to tell you, Mr. President, you know, there's a lot of people that are proud of you. And do you have anything to say to your followers and the people who love you, Mr. Biden?
She was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied.
Yeah. Yep.
Our freedom can never.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What do you guys think in the sidebar? What do you guys think about that, about what the president had to say about his pardon coming up with Hunter? Oh my gosh. Did Joe say pardon after he releases gas during his speeches? Is that really true? I think that that's Russian disinformation, guys. I really just think anybody who says anything bad about Joe Biden or any Democrat, that's just Russian disinformation. And I think that we really need to support what's that? Hold on. President Biden has some. Wait, what's that, Mr. President? Hold on.
Be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long.
Oh my gosh. I'd never even thought about that, guys. Did you hear what Mr. Biden just said? I mean, Mr. President, did you hear what President Biden had to say? Oh man, I'm so proud of him. You know, we're going to have Trans Pride Month in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you guys get your hormone replacement therapy now for your 3-year-olds. Get them while they're hot, because it's going to get expensive after the public schools get their hands on your kids' minds. All right, so let's see here. All right, so hey, that's funny. What is here? Rayski says he can't even make it to the toilet. Oh my gosh, is it Ray Sky? Yeah, I feel bad for him. I do. But this is a nonpartisan channel. I'm an equal opportunity, make fun of both. I just don't have any video of Trump where he just, you know, where you know, like this kind of stuff that I've been showing you recently. I mean, obviously this has been live conversations I'm having with the president. I've got him backstage. As you know, I have President Biden backstage, and he's just made an agreement, guys, tonight on our channel live. You saw this. President Joe Biden has agreed to step down on the condition that he gets to pardon Hunter in exchange for Trump agreeing not to run for president, because he's obviously worried Trump's going to come after him, of course, right? And so what the agreement is Chile de Castro is going to step in and they're going to endorse him. So Chile de Castro from Delete Laws, you saw it tonight on my channel, is going to step in, and he's going to take over as the front runner for both the Republican and the Democrat ticket. So it's just going to be basically him against RFK, right? That's going to be a beautiful ticket, guys, because, you know, Chile may just bring him in. He might, because Chile's a builder, right? He's a builder. He's going to build an alliance, right? So right now, as long as Biden agrees to walk away, he'll go ahead and pardon Hunter. It's going to be over. Chile's going to step in. Camel Hair's going to walk away. Trump's going to walk away, and it's going to be Chile de Castro. Chile de Castro. You don't believe me? Hold on one second. Hold on, Mr. President. They don't believe me, Mr. President, that you're going to step down and that Trump is going to get a pardon too, and that you're going to step down and you're going to pardon Hunter, and that Chile de Castro is going to take over. They didn't believe me, sir. What's that? Can you tell them for me? They're not going to. Yes. Thank you, sir.
As he was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She no longer.
Beautiful.
She
Thank
knows
you.
so long as he was
Thank you,
denied,
Mr. President.
our freedom can never
Oh
be
my
secured.
God, you're so beautiful. You're
She
amazing.
no longer. She knows so long as.
Did you hear what he said? He's so eloquent. I mean, I just am so impressed with the eloquence of President Biden. By the way, guys, could you send some of this footage tonight over to CNN? Because I need a job really bad. You know, this isn't working out on YouTube. I really love you, Mr. President. I really need a job at CNN. Is there something you can do for me? So let me take a look in the sidebar. I need to answer any questions about the upcoming pardon and Chile de Castro stepping in and taking over. Remember, Chile de Castro is going to take over. That's part of the deal that I was able to negotiate because of my connections, you know, because I am in pretty tight with the political world, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So hold on. I'm going to look in the sidebar. I know you guys have burning questions for the president. Well, I have him here live tonight. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys, and hit that like button. Smash that like button, because we got an in. We got an in. We are connected. So hold on. All right. Yeah, Race Gas says all candidates have prospects of jail in common. I agree with you there, buddy. Diesel says there's no constitution. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. That Save Man, Woman, Peace. Good seeing you, Save Man, Woman, Peace. It's been a while. Save Man, Woman, Peace. I'm going to put this up here. Says there's no constitution. Wait, that's you. Hold on. This one. F. Biden and Trump. One a baby killer, the other a sex offender. Anyone is better. Well, I appreciate everybody's point of view on my channel, as long as you're not, you know, disruptive and spreading obvious falsities about my guests and people that I care about, or me. You know, you're welcome to come and talk and hang out. And I don't care if you support Trump or Anton LaVey's satanic church. You know, I really don't. As long as you're civil and you care about your country, you know, you're not going to be a troublemaker. I love having that, because that's America. You know, that's the majority of America. Just people, for the most part, want to be left alone, right? I mean, put it in the comments if you don't think that is how Americans, for the most part, want to be left alone. All right. So, yeah. And what do we, government, GAO. So give me a bunch of GAOs, by the way, guys. I need to see a few in the sidebar. And then Brick Jonesy has some really cool hashtags for the Biden family that I'm going to share with you. These are Joe Biden's favorite hashtags. And I'm not even going to charge you for this because it's public now. Okay. So it's free ice cream 4, and that's the numeral 4 Joe. And then the next one is hashtag free crack pipes 4, numeral 4 Hunter. And these are right now the winning hashtags. You use these anytime you want to talk about cool stuff, and you'll probably pick up a lot of followers. So these are the ones you want to use. And they're CIA free. They're not getting, right now, they're not being targeted along with Dick's Sporting Goods and stuff like that. So you can use them. And let's see here. Oh my God, Chevy. I got a super chat. Thank you, Chevy. Brownie for president. I better scroll up more. Look, you know what, man? I probably missed. I appreciate you showing up, Chevy. That's really awesome. That'll be the brown belt. Yeah. Oh, BZ Watchdog says he's writing in his name, free chili. So BZ Watchdog's going to write in Chili de Castro's name on the ballot. So guys, I really want to know, what do you think? What do you think about about President Biden's decision that he announced tonight on my show that he is going to go ahead and let Chili de Castro replace him for the next candidate for president. And in exchange, Trump is going to step down from running and get a full pardon from the governor of New York. He's going to be out of there. Biden's going to stop all prosecutions against Trump because obviously we know he's the one behind all this, right? So he's going to stop all that. In exchange, he can pardon Hunter Biden without losing face. And besides, nobody can understand him anyways, a lot of people are saying. And now Chili de Castro is going to come in and take that slot. What do you think? What do you think about that? BZ Watchdog thinks that that's where it's at. BZ Watchdog, by the way, make sure to like and subscribe to BZ Watchdog. His post office videos and legal research have really been amazing. Really great work, BZ. Excellent. So that is BZ Watchdog. He's going to be writing in Chili de Castro's name. But I don't think you're going to have to, guys, because hold on. President Biden already agreed. We're going to ask him again while he's here. He keeps on knocking at my door. I told him he had to wait outside because he keeps on passing gas. I can't handle it, man. It's too much. But hold on, we get him. Mr. President, so you have agreed then to step down and let Chili de Castro take your place as president of the United States?
Denied. Our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied.
Well, that makes sense.
Our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied.
I think so too. I mean, I think perfectly logical.
She knows so long as
didn't mean to interrupt, but I agree. All right. So you guys heard it here first. President Biden has agreed to allow Chili de Castro to replace him on the ticket for president. He's going to step down. He's going to pardon Hunter, and that's going to be the end of it. So hopefully you guys learned a lot tonight that Hunter Biden will receive a full pardon. Joe Biden will step down. Chili de Castro from Delete Laws is going to take over that slot, and it's going to be golden. Now, I want to take a poll in the sidebar. Do you guys think that this is a good thing? Give me a bunch of ones if you think this was a fair arrangement. Give me a bunch of twos if you think it's unfair. And then anybody, if you want, type in your reasoning, because I'm going to talk to Chili pretty soon, and I want to break this to him because he's not going to find out till I talk to him. I don't think, unless one of those jailers is buddies with him who watches YouTube. I don't think this, because we heard it live on YouTube tonight, guys. First place on the planet. You heard it right here, guys. Wow, good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, BZ, man. You're the man. And thank you, Chevy. And by the way, guys, check out Chevy's music too. Chevy posted a link in the sidebar. I want you to check out Chevy. Now, Race Gas, I think I haven't seen you here in a while, or maybe this is the first time, but I love the name. How many octane gas do you like to run? And what are you running? Is it street? Is it watercraft? What do you do? Because I'm all about the V8. I think 350 Chevy, you can really build them out, and they're affordable compared to like a Chrysler. You know, the parts and whatnot. I mean, Mopar is just more expensive, right? You tell me. My dad was a drag racer. He knew Don Prudhomme and Big Daddy Don Garlitz, and he used to take me to the races. And I remember the blown alcohol, and I met Don Garlitz. I met Don Prudhomme, had their posters all over my room. Put in the comments if you guys remember drag racing, if you're old enough. I mean, am I that old that you guys don't know what drags are? I mean, because I grew up on that stuff, man. I mean, I was building motors out in the garage. Yeah, superchargers, all that stuff. Always working with my hands. It's so crazy that I'm a lawyer because I'm a blue collar guy but at least I kind of look the part. I can get away with looking like a lawyer, right? But yeah. Hey, yeah. So BZ Watchdog says Dick Bag Patrol is hiring. Maybe I should get a job there. I didn't even know. Whoa. CNN travel money. See, so, okay, so there you go. Guys, I was trying to tell you earlier that I'm trying to get a job with CNN because I do support only Democrats and President Biden. So I think that should guarantee me a job. But I wanted to make sure because that I announced it with help from one of my friends. And a lot of people don't know that I'm really good friends with President Biden. And I wanted him to tell you, just for all the people who just joined my chat, President Joe Biden has just told us all, Mr. President, can you tell my audience again about our deal, about our agreement? Okay. Yeah. So everybody, I've got President Biden. He's just kind of hanging out in the back. And what he's agreed to is he's agreed to step down and not run for president. And he's going to have Chili DeCastro take the spot. He's going to take that spot. Right? So Chili DeCastro is taking Joe Biden's spot. You don't believe me? I'm looking in the sidebar. A lot of people don't believe me in this sidebar. Hold on. Let's ask the president right now. Let's ask him and see for yourself. If you don't believe me, naysayer.
Freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as
What did I tell you?
denied.
What did I tell
Freedom
you?
can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied. Our freedom can never.
You guys should have enough faith in me by now. You should know by now that if I tell you the president said that, that's what he said. You heard it yourself. Crying out loud. Ridiculous that you still don't believe me, some of you. Unacceptable. Mike got a wrench from Joe. Whoa, 350R. Hell yeah, dude. Race gas. Funny cars. Yeah, man. Hey, I was watching that. Oh, man, there was like that drag show, those guys in Oklahoma. Super cool, man. I don't know if you guys watched that, but they had like one of the guys, his name was Big Chief, and it was about his crew, and they kept winning most of the races, I guess. But yeah, it was pretty badass. It was a bunch of guys in the Deep South, and they were drag racing. And now when my dad was growing up, the 22 freeway was under construction in Orange County. And so they used to drag race on the unfinished sections of the 22, and the local PD, the cops would come out and watch them. That's the difference. That's totally different than how the cops are now. And the cop that would come most of the time, his name was Johnny Yuma. And my dad and all of his friends to this day, my dad just passed away, but would always say to me, whenever they saw a cop, hey, Johnny Yuma. And they would always call cops Johnny Yuma. And that was from drag racing on the Garden Grove Freeway. So a little bit of California gold for you. A little bit of the history of the 22 freeway, that it was a drag strip for all those dudes when my dad was growing up, like your 1960, whatever, 66, 67 Chevys, right? All that stuff, just out there, just tearing it up, man, having a good time. Cause you could build Chevys, back then that was the car you would build. It was like the 327. And then the 350 was, obviously that was more money, but you could build the heck out of a 327. Somebody who had a 427 was like a god, back in those days. Just, you'd be building them out. But yeah, at least my audience gets it. Now I got 72 people in the chat. Yeah, I'm a lawyer who likes drag racing. And I've had some of the coolest cars you could ever imagine. Someday I'll tell you about all the badass cars that I've had over my lifetime. Always thinking that it would get me girls. And I got more girls when I drove a beat up truck or a Jeep than I did when I drove a Porsche, just wild, man. Especially Jeeps, man. Jeeps are, guys, BZ, get yourself a Jeep, dude. All right. So Kurt Bronson, good seeing you, man. Yeah. Street racing, man. Such a cool thing, especially for the boys. There's an element of danger in everything you do, but anything's better than doing donuts in the middle of a city street with a bunch of idiots standing around with their cameras. At least with drag racing, you're both people, they're the ones racing. You're not putting people around you. For the most part, you're not putting people around you in danger. It's controlled. It actually teaches young men discipline, believe it or not. Any kind of an organized, dangerous thing like that is what young boys need. young boys need to experience near-death understandings because, again, it is our role genetically to be the protectors. That's just how it is. We're stronger for a reason, and we're short-fused for a reason, because we're the ones who are expected to be the first line of defense for our wives and children. It's just the way it's always been. It's just the way nature is. It's a law of nature. I don't have any say in it. Sorry. Now, all right. So Valiant's nice done up. Yeah. This is all really good stuff that I'm seeing here. Hey, I love Fords and Chevys, but I'm always going to be partial to the Chevy because those are the motors that I worked on. Now we modified Ford rear ends quite a bit to Chevys because the Ford rear end is a superior rear end. So we would do a lot of Frankensteining. I never got into drag racing like my dad did, but I worked on my buddy's dragsters, and my dad would go with me because he would kind of help because he was good at it. But yeah. By the way, I'm not feeling good today, guys. I got a little bit of a sore throat. So if I sound like a drill instructor, it's probably because I got a sore throat there, you. But all right, Gloria, good seeing you, Gloria. I'm sorry that you're leaving so early. I'm super glad that you joined us tonight. By the way, I did a really cool short, guys, on Eddie Gallagher, and that was the Navy chief who got pardoned by President Trump. He got convicted of posing with a dead ISIS terrorist. And of course, you guys all know I really love Gallagher and the Gallagher family. I think they're just really squared away, classy people. And so that I did a short, and by golly, I got like 8,000 views on that thing, and I can't figure out why. So somebody tell me why some of my shorts only get like 400 views and other ones get like 8,000. I'm totally befuddled because I like it when people see my stuff because I spend a lot of time trying to make stuff look cool. And it's stuff that I like, it's not just like, I'm not trying to make money, like I share things that matter to me that I care about. And so anyways, we'll go ahead and end this bad chicken since we already lost Gloria. And so obviously since Gloria's gone, there's no reason for me to go on. It's pretty much total loss. My life is over. Gloria, why did you have to do this to me? It's totally unfair. Unacceptable. El Camino. Yeah, dude. So my dad, bro, probably had 10 El Caminos during the course of my lifetime with him on earth. And he had a couple rancheros too, which is like the Ford version of an El Camino. And he would take those things. Dude, my dad took his El Caminos to the Cadillac place where they do the Cadillac paint jobs. And he had those things done with Cadillac paint. And all of his El Caminos were done up like with Cadillac quality. And then he would use them as work trucks. It's just the weirdest dude, man. But he would, because he was a contractor. So he would always have, not like a construction worker, but he was still, he would have blueprints and, a toolbox that would slide around back there. And they didn't have bed liners back then. That didn't exist. That was not something that happened. And he would always have really badass automatic transmissions. I forgot what they're called, but I think it's called not pause traction, hydra shifters. So he'd put hydra shifters in his El Caminos, and that's like basically a really badass shifter that sort of makes your automatic shift like it's a 5-speed or a 4-speed tranny, right? Am I right about that, Brick Jonesy? It's been a while. But isn't this cool? Like, I don't hear any of you chicks talking about, well, I actually do. There's one cool chick in here. Unfortunately, she's already taken. Damn it. That likes these things. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. Okay, so Street Outlaws. That's right. Street Outlaws. That's right, David. Yeah, Street Outlaws. What a cool show. Hey, guys, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time when plasma screen TVs just came out and there were only a few HD stations and you had to have basically like direct TV. I'm going to look over in the sidebar. We're having a conversation right now before I go. So it was basically, if you didn't have DirecTV HD, you couldn't even, it didn't matter if you had this plasma screen. And of course, they were like 1 million pounds and they were like this thick, right? And that was considered to be thin, like that thick. And they were super heavy. Do you guys remember the plasma screen TV? It was like the thing. Like if someone had a plasma screen, they were like considered to be like a god, basically, right? All right. Yes, there are Amazon. There are tons. There are tons of them. There are tons of car shows. I do like Ducatis, but I'm not interested in riding a Ducati. I'm already too dangerous on a Harley. Can't imagine what it would be like on a street bike like that. You know, like a racing bike. Gosh. Get gap insurance. Yeah, Gloria. Yeah. Wash your gun, Marine. Anyways, yeah. So Dad would always take those El Caminos and modify them out. And he also we had one Ranchero that had a hood scoop on it, and he had a blower up in there. It was pretty cool, man. Guys, you got to know, like, my dad was cool. Like, I met Don Perdome, Don Garlitz. I met the guy, Mint 400, Mickey Thompson. I got a job working at a vendor's booth at one of his super off-roaders on the Baja 400, I think it was. So, yeah, because my dad was in that community. So, cool stories, right, guys? Yeah. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. Well, you should, Amazon. You should definitely come and go to some car shows in LA. But I also recommend you do a car show in Nevada. Nevada has some pretty badass car shows as well. And they'll take a whole, like casino and make it into a really badass car show where it's inside. Super, super fun because you can like walk around and drink and don't have to worry about the police state that is California, Yeah, let's see here. No way. You rode rice rockets, man. Rice burners. Hey, dude, some of those Japanese cars and motorcycles are super cool. I just have always been partial, for me personally, for a motor. I'm always going to go with an American, like a V8. That's just my default. In fact, I had a salvaged 911 Porsche with the wide body, like they call it the turbo look, right? And it had like been in an accident and the motor had been taken out of it. And so we bought it and we took out the back seat and put a 350 in there. And then like, I also saw one of those Vanagons. You know what a Vanagon is? It's like a Volkswagen van. And I used to live on 24th Street in Newport Beach. I was a surfer and used to just walk across and surf right there, 24th, right there, right on the sand, man. And it was like, I don't know, I was out on the balcony and I heard like the total signature sound of a Porsche motor that like is winding up, you can't miss it when you're downshifting a flat six Porsche. It's got that. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've, driven around in it like a naturally aspirated 911 SC, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm looking and I hear a Porsche, but I see a freaking van, dude. And I'm like, that's a Porsche motor. And I run down there and I go, dude, what the hell? What did you do? He's like, yeah, it's the only Volkswagen van capable of taking the Porsche motor. And we got this from a salvage title Porsche. I didn't ask him if it was mine. I don't know if it was mine, but just interesting how I got a Porsche with no motor and I had to do some body work, obviously, to that one, and put a 350 in it and mated it all up to the transmission. It was not easy, but doable. And then this other dude's driving around in a van that sounds like a freaking souped up Porsche. I mean, this dude had a cam on there. He had like headers. It just sounded amazing. Whatever he did to that motor. And you could tell he had cold air intake. I mean, that car was set up. It was badass. Those are air-cooled motors, by the way. I mean, the way he had that set up, it just sounded like amazing, like just a dream come true. Yeah, Mad Max MPE, Team MPE. Yeah, what's up, Rick? What's up? Yeah, I'm kind of like those brothers, those UFC brothers. What are those guys called? Nick and the Ortiz brothers. Hey, what's up? What's up, man? I'm gangster. Yeah. Loving it. Yeah, I'm going to have one of my buddies who's a UFC fighter come on. I had him on once before, but my audio, as usual, is jacked up. But I'm going to have one of my buddies who's a UFC fighter come on in a couple of weeks, and he's into the Second Amendment. So we'll probably go out to the range. So I doubt we can do it live, because if we show, shooting or guns on a live chat, they'll shut us down. But yeah, what I'll do is we'll do it out in Vegas, and I'll invite you guys to fly in, and we can film it, at least with all of us out having a good time. And I think you can blow up tannerite in Nevada. So I think we could do some tannerite targets where we blow shit up. So that's super fun. It's like this explosive thing, and you shoot it, and boom, it explodes. So you could put it on it, put it on a target, or put it on like a can or something, and as soon as you hit it, it explodes. So it's super fun. Yeah, right on, Dr. Walters. Harley Leathers, that's badass. Yeah, so I hang out with the Leathernecks Motorcycle Club, and they're really good guys. And I really just have a lot of respect and admiration for bikers and the whole outlaw lifestyle. I think that less government means more freedom, and that having your own system of a brotherhood or a loose confederation of like-minded people who you trust, I think that's the way to go, guys. I think a lot of people are using social media the wrong way. We should literally be trying to build business relationships with everybody that we agree with. Everybody in my sidebar right now should be becoming friends with everybody else. You should be finding out what they do for a living, what they're all about, and trying to become friends with them, because they're here because they like me, and they understand that I believe in natural law. They understand that I'm a reasonable, level-headed guy who likes to have fun. I'm not a jerk, typical a-hole lawyer, but I'm also capable of communicating at a human level. And you guys all at least respect what I'm trying to tell you is, hey, just try to be good friends with each other, help each other out, be there for each other. For example, BZ Watchdog, I really want you to support his channel. He's doing a great job. The stuff he's doing right now is stuff that lawyers would charge thousands of dollars to do. Public records requests, drilling them down with follow-up requests. I think he's even getting apology letters from the postmaster, if I'm not mistaken, because he comes off so professional and polished when he deals with these people. So I just want you guys to give people credit, and then other people who support him, you should be supporting the people who support him. For example, if there's somebody who is donating money to BZ or his cause and helping him, maybe that person who's helping BZ or Chili, maybe they have a business that sells gun holsters, or that sells dog leashes, or whatever it might be. So now just buy exclusively from them, and make sure that for Christmas, you always make sure to buy gifts for your family only from that guy. That's how you do it. And it could be also obviously a lawyer, if you guys need a lawyer for an injury case or whatever kind of case you need. Because if I can't help you do it, I'll find you someone that I like and trust, who I think is good. And if I can't, I'll do my best to help you in any way I can. But beyond me, somebody who's a tailor, and you have graduation coming up, prom day or whatever, well, make sure that if it's reasonable, have them be the tailor. Have the guy that in the sidebar here, who's your friend, be the tailor. And if it's someone retired, like a Let's TVO kind of guy who's retired, maybe he's got a friend or a family member who needs help, or who needs a hand up, who's going through a hard time starting a business. Maybe you can help them by buying, something from them. I'm not saying buy Amway from people, but you know what I mean? Don't be dumb. Don't get into some pyramid scam. Just what I'm saying is help each other's businesses in any way you can. Always, always, always read Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Read that book. Read it. Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith. Understand laissez-faire capitalism. Understand that you don't need a bunch of politicians to dictate how you live your life. And the more parallel systems that you create, the more those politicians will yield and heal and respect your sovereign will. But as long as you continually participate in their system of nonsense, right? Their academic nonsense, you will always be at a disparity. You will not be an equal. You will not be on par. They will always rule over you. And that's why I really encourage all of you, be like Martin Luther King. He encouraged the Black community to create parallel systems, and they broke the shopkeepers. They broke the racist shopkeepers in the South. They broke them and forced the stores to end the BS racist garbage where you treat someone differently based upon the color of their skin, which is one of the reasons why we're having all these problems today, because now people can throw the race word around even when it's bullshit, because it's such a horrific thing to say to destroy their political opponents. It's lost a lot of its teeth, but it's still a valid way to destroy someone. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree with that, by the way. And thank you, Chevy, guns, car, wife, and family. Yeah, dude. It's funny, whenever I come on these things, I come on to talk about like the latest news, Hunter Biden and the Joe Biden thing. And I end up talking about dragsters and going to the gun range. But at least you guys got to learn a little bit. Hopefully you understand the difference now between presidential pardoning power and the power of a state governor to pardon or commute. I think each state has a different way they do it. That's why I'm not sure, like, if it's called a pardon with the governor. So, for all you MERB types who hang on every word that someone says, just do your own research for your state. But there's probably a parallel or similar type of statute or code that's, or name that's similar, right? That matches up. All right. Just take a look. But that's the deal, guys. That's the deal. You're going to have your federal. Thanks for all the ones, by the way, Jody, Amazon, and Mama Lion, Chevy, Race Gas, Brick, Amazon. Holy crap. Kurt Bronson. Look at all these guys. Donna. We got a full house tonight, guys. At one time I looked like 20,000, but then they disappeared when I put my glasses back on. But, I thought that was I did. Hold on a minute. President Biden didn't think my joke was funny. He wanted to apologize for what I just said. Hold on.
Be secured. She knows so long as she was denied.
And I'm sorry, Mr. President.
She knows so long as she was denied.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Guys, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend my great dear leader. Can you guys please forgive me? I didn't mean to do it, Chevy. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. Now, hey, Kurt Bronson, we don't stop. Hey, what's up, Amazon? Yeah. Mama Lion, right on. Oh my gosh, hold on a minute. Whoa. Brick Jonesy, he got me another cool hashtag. So this is a winner. If you guys want to win big right now on Twitter, start using the hashtag #FreeCrackPipes for numeral Hunter. And then you can put a big string of like Pride Day and all this other stuff, rainbow flag, and you'll probably guaranteed get a teaching position at Harvard or Columbia. And if you mention Hamas, you might even be able to get on the Supreme Court on the next round of appointments. So I think that's a good deal for all you people who want to ride the blue wave into the Leviathanic future. I think you're all ready to go. If you don't want the government to be hamstrung by the First Amendment, use that hashtag and you're on your way to freedom. Freedom from freedom. Now, President Biden thinks that we need a ministry of truth, and we've gone around about this. He thinks that we need to have politicians on his payroll who support his campaign decide what misinformation and disinformation is. And so I told him I think that it's unfair, to be honest, but he was reasonable and he asked me if I would at least give him an opportunity to explain it to my audience, because he knows that you guys really hang on everything I say. And if I say don't go along with it, that you're going to do whatever I say. Like President Biden knows that I have a captive audience. They'll do anything I say, jump off a bridge, whatever it might be. And so he was hoping, because of this unique relationship I have with my audience, that he would be able to have an opportunity to explain to you, why he feels the way he does about having a ministry of truth and why it's so important that the Democrat Party be able to control all the news stations in all of Silicon Valley for fairness sake. And so I was going to let him tell you from his own words. So, Mr. President, I prepped the audience. because I know that Jill needs to get you to the doctor and your ice cream's melting. But the audience is now ready to hear your side of the story, why you think it's okay for the government to censor their political opponents and get all your friends in politics to criminally prosecute President Trump. And they wanted to see what your position was and why you think that's okay. Go ahead, Mr. President.
Freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied.
All right. Well, I think that's fair. I mean, what do you guys think in the sidebar? Do you think that President Biden's comments are fair and in accord with the way you feel about all of this? I want to see what you have to say. Let's look over in the sidebar. So Racecast says, don't worry, he'll forget. Kurt Bronson can't stop laughing. So I don't know, Kurt, man, you got to lay off the beers before you come on my streams, man. Because Mike Ehline and someone drinking beers doesn't mix, because you just won't be able to stop laughing. I know I'm not the best looking guy, being a hair lip and all, I make people laugh, but I do my best to try to be serious and not be too comedic in the way I look. Because looks aren't everything, guys. I mean, I also have a, heart and soul. And let's see what we have to say over here. Okay, so I am the best officer of the court. I am the best officer of the court entertainer. Do you understand me there, you? All right, thanks, Let's OTVO. I appreciate that. So I am the great entertainer of law. That makes sense. And I was the goof off in school. You probably already figured that one out, though. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Mama Lion asked for a translator. So, Mr. President, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Mr. President. Yeah. All right, hold on. So I told Mr. President Biden that Mama Lion got a translator. So now that she's got her translator, I'm sorry. No, we can't rewind it right now, Mr. President. No, I'm sorry. So, yeah. Okay. So he's going to really quick, Mama Lion, he's going to tell you what he just told everyone else about that.
She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured.
I mean, you heard it.
She knows so long as she was denied.
I mean, you can't argue with that, right, guys? I mean, he's the president of the United States. I mean, he received over 81 million votes, and all those postal trucks, man, they spent millions on gas that night to get to their destinations at 2 a.m. They really did a great job. Thank the USPS and all the partisan politicians who run that. Thank them for helping President Biden. Yes, thank them. All right, so no, Amazon. Is that what he said? Yeah, that's probably like some new book or something he's been reading. I know he's very intellectual. As I understand it, he actually participated in the Israeli Revolution against the British. And I think he also fought in the Civil Rights War against the United States on the side of the Black Panthers. And he has a very storied history as a law review clerk and a law review writer. What do they call that? I was in law review, by the way, guys. Is that crazy? I really was. What do they call that, though? Well, anyways, you guys understand. I mean, President Biden, participated in the Civil Rights Act movie, and he served alongside of Jesse Jackson in the Al Sharpton Wars against Martin Luther King. And he was just an amazing man. And if you've ever seen him on CNN, well, hold on. You know what? He's still here. Mr. President, I'm just so impressed with your oratory and your brilliant background and the honesty and just what an upstanding son you have. And obviously your daughter and her, despite her great attraction for you, does not want to take showers with you anymore. I really have a lot of respect for you, Mr. Biden. What do you have to say about all this?
Our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never
Man,
be
you're such
secured.
an amazing man.
She
I
knows so
feel
long as
so
she was denied, our
blessed.
freedom can never be
So
secured.
thank you, Mr. President.
She
Thank you.
knows
I
so
just can't
long
even.
as she was
Thank you
denied.
so much. I'm just so blown away. That was almost like an orgasmic experience for me to hear such an amazing man. And I'm so grateful that he flooded our country with over 20 million illegal aliens without screening them for any kind of diseases or criminal past. It just makes me so proud to know that he believes in diversity, equity, and inclusion. It makes me so happy and proud. Thank you, Mr. President. I mean, what a great way to control the population. Just let a bunch of peasants come up here and give them everything for free and then cut off their money and see what happens. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What an idea. What a great way to control the population. Oh, really? Hold on. Yes. Oh, Mr. President. Oh, thank you. Mr. President wanted to say goodbye to everybody, especially people, well, who ain't a particular color unless they vote for him.
Our freedom can never be secured. She knows so long as she was denied,
Oh,
our freedom can never be secured.
I mean,
She knows so long as she was
orgasmic.
denied, our freedom can never be secured.
It's like a gourmet meal. Like listening to President Biden, give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Listening to President Biden, it's like a fine steak, like, but a raw steak, not too raw, just because you don't want to ruin a good steak. You don't want to ruin a good steak, right, BZ? Wait, BZ, is BZ Watchdog still here? BZ, we don't want to ruin a good steak, right? See that? Don't want to ruin a good steak. Now, but what about some cheesecake, guys? Cheesecake is calling me. It just feels like a cheesecake and maybe a little Chardonnay, maybe. What do you think, BZ? A little Chardonnay? Or what do you think, Brick? Should it be Chardonnay or what should it be? With my not so well done steak, medium well, or maybe semi well, with some Chardonnay, or what would it be? What do you think? And should I have cheesecake? Will President Biden pardon Hunter? What do you think about cheesecake? All right. Good stuff. Now, as Johnny Carson would say, good stuff. Now, that's Ed McMahon. Hey, what do you think, huh? Who am I doing over here? Little bit of Rodney Dangerfield, eh? Hey, Mike, pull over my wife. Hey, she's got to take a big one. Hey, all right. Yeah, I used to be Rodney Dangerfield's limousine driver. Got some stories for you. All right, guys. Well, an Italian steak. Well, I lost BZ. He's probably back nursing his big, beautiful bean channel. Hey, did you guys see that BZ's channel got picked up today by some other really famous YouTube guy? And it looks like BZ picked up like 200 or 300 subscribers already today or more. He's killing it. This dude's killing it. So yeah, I did this cool short so somebody tell me in the sidebar, share it with me, whatever. Why my short about Eddie Gallagher is doing so well, but all my other ones only get like 400 or whatever. What's good about that? What makes that one different than my other ones? Because I'm impressed by that I was able to do that. So anyways, give me a bunch of comments. Let me know. Oh, New York steak well done sounds good. Wow, that sounds great. Oh, he's going to go troll. Okay. Well, it's really good seeing all you guys. I appreciate you coming out. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe not. I am really overwhelmed and stressed out at work. So I'll probably just throw up a short or something. I don't know. Anyways, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, and make sure to save it on your computer, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. So Semper Fi, do or die.